So another week of Detroit sports is come and gone. The Pistons' great tank continues to roll on. Tigers continue to get all tuned and fired up in the spring training before the regular season begins. We're about a week away from Tigers regular season starting, and less than 2 weeks away from the Tigers home opener too, from aka Tigers opening day. And the Red Wings, I think with the Wings, I think we need to start having some serious questions about the Yzer plan. Like, I'm not going to give up on Steve Yzerman and the Yzer plan, but I think we need to seriously have some discussions about what the fuck is going on.
Detroit basketball!
So, the Pistons this week, well, the week started off fiery after we all found out about that viral clip of Troy Weaver getting at it with the fan, when the fan told Troy right to his face that Troy sucked at his fucking job, which that is the truth. That Troy does fucking suck. And so far, nothing really else came out of that whole situation. Just that one clip, and that was it. But yeah, anyway though, how did the Pistons respond from that whole thing? Why, they went out and won 2 games following that whole fan interaction with Troy Weaver. As the Pistons ended up winning by double digits on the Hornets, and then they beat Toronto pretty well too. So 2 wins right after that. Not bad. They had a chance to get a 3rd win when they tied against Miami late, until Cade Cunningham botched the timing of the 3-point shot and missed, which allowed Miami to go down and get the 3-point shot and the win as right before the buzzer beeped for the Heat to go on and win in the last seconds of the game. Like, honestly, that one was just a coaching botch and a Cade Cunningham botch. Just poor leadership and poor coaching and poor execution in that game. Because that game against Miami was a winnable game, and the Pistons fucked that up. And then the game against Orlando, well, that game was honestly perfect punishment for the pregame ceremony, when the Pistons once again decided to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of the 2004 championship squad. To be perfectly honest, I had no idea they were celebrating the 2004 championship Sunday against Orlando. I had no idea about that, because the Pistons did next to no fucking marketing for it. I don't think anybody had a fucking clue for it. And even then, it was still a complete botch job, because the way the Pistons celebrated it, it was done so very poorly. But maybe you didn't have Tom Gores in attendance for it, because once again, Tom Gores continues to not give a shit about the Pistons. I'll just say this, Tom. If you're not going to give a fuck about the Pistons, then sell the fucking team to somebody that does give a fuck. Like, if you're not gonna give a shit about it, then what's the fucking point of owning the team? Just fucking sell it to somebody that gives a shit and go fucking drink in your house in the fucking Hamptons and fuck off out of Detroit's lives forever. Like it's not even a real ceremony too, because you don't have Joe Dumars there. Because Joe Dumars and the Pistons still aren't on good terms after the way Joe Dumars was booted out. Like hell, they even forgot to introduce Ben Wallace. It's like, how do you fuck that up? Ben Wallace is one of the biggest Pistons legends in one of the biggest legends in the Pistons franchise history. How the fuck do you forget to introduce Ben Wallace? Like, this entire ceremony was just one fucking botch after another. It was fucking very terribly executed all around. Pistons losing Orlando, that's honestly the perfect punishment for that, how bad the Pistons botched that whole thing. And oh yeah, we still got another month of this left to go. Welcome to hell. One team that doesn't have us in hell right now is the Tigers, as the Tigers continue to be impressive so far during spring training. They've looked really good so far. Even though it's preseason, it means nothing. It's just more player evaluation and test and tuning. There's definitely some hope here for the Tigers this season. The question is, though, can they beat Minnesota to win the AL Central? That's the only question. Like, I'll be honest, I think, because the AL Central is Minnesota's to lose. But if Minnesota chokes, it falls apart. The Pistons, I think, could be the best team prime to take the AL Central. Unless Cleveland decides to try and sneak in there, too. Like, I'm not sold on Chicago. Like, Kansas City's probably going to be bad again, and I think Chicago's going to be middle of the pack. Like, I think the only way the Tigers make the playoffs this year is if they win the AL Central and Minnesota falls apart. And, I have my doubts there. I mean, anything's possible. But the way the Tigers are in preseason, it has me wondering. Because, especially with the Red Wings' struggles. Because this year we sacrificed the Pistons, so the Lions could be good. Does this mean that with the Red Wings' late season collapse the last couple weeks, does this mean the Red Wings' playoff push is being sacrificed for the Tigers to be good? I mean, coincidentally, the Tigers' Red Wings collapse started around the same time that spring training began. It would kind of line up perfectly. I mean, for the Tigers to be good, we can't sacrifice the Pistons twice this season. We already sacrificed them once. I mean, if we have to sacrifice the Pistons again, it means the Pistons aren't winning the draft lottery this year, and the Pistons get shafted to the 5th overall pick. Or maybe they go to 6th or 7th if they jump ahead of Washington and San Antonio. And then the Pistons get really shafted. We'll have to see, though. But yeah, honestly, please not the Red Wings. I'd rather the Pistons get sacrificed twice than the Red Wings. But yeah, sadly, the Pistons got sacrificed for one Detroit team to be good. That means that the Red Wings gotta get sacrificed for the Tigers to possibly be good. Will it work? We'll tune in at the end of April. We'll revisit this topic at the end of April to find out. But speaking of the Red Wings, just what in the hell was this week? Just a complete fucking embarrassment this week. Just the Wings have been an absolute embarrassment the last 2 weeks. Just nothing has gone right for the Wings the last 2-3 weeks. Like, this week started off roughly with the Wings getting their backs blown out in Buffalo. Just that game against Buffalo was a fucking embarrassment. One of the worst fucking games from the Wings I've seen in a while. Just pretty fucking bad overall. Like, I think definitely, so far, we're seeing how valuable Dylan Larkin truly is to the Red Wings lineup. Because this is not a second time that the Red Wings have fallen apart after Larkin went down injury. Because when Larkin got cheap shot against Ottawa and got injured, the Red Wings collapsed and went on a massive slide until Larkin got back in the lineup. And then this time, Larkin gets an injury, out for a couple weeks. Red Wings go into a massive slide, and it went to like 6-7 games because they end up losing 4-1 to Arizona. And of course, after the Buffalo game, we had, of course, the big fight during Red Wings practice, where Lucas Raymond and Ben Sherratt were both fighting with each other. It's like, wow. The Wings have all that energy to fight each other during practice, but they don't have that same kind of energy during a fucking game. That's pretty fucking embarrassing. Like, that fight there just proves that Dylan Larkin was truly the glue holding this team together. Because this team has fallen apart since Larkin went down again. Because coincidentally, once Larkin went down, the entire team went with him. It explains why the Wings have been bad the last 3 weeks. Just once Larkin went down, the team went with him. Just pretty bad overall. Just a pretty bad situation. Like, definitely some questions that need to be asked about the Yzer plan and Derek Lalonde, because no team in NHL should fall apart from one player game, losing one player. Like, if the team's falling apart after losing one player, that's usually a coaching issue. Like, in terms of the Wings' issues, I think it's Derek Lalonde. Like, I'll be honest, the players, Yzerman and Malone, all three are equally to blame for this collapse. But if we have to we have to give a slight edge to whoever has the most blame, I would more than likely put it on Derek Malone. Even though Steve Yzerman hasn't been perfect so far, but I'll be honest, I think with the way this has gone, I think it's time we take Steve Yzerman off his pedestal. Like, I'm not gonna give up and say fire him, but, you know, I think we need to stop treating him like he's fucking Jesus. Like, I think we need to recognize that Steve Yzerman is just as normal of a GM as every other GM in the league, and that he's as human as the rest of us. He's not fucking perfect. And I know some people are going to come and say, oh, but look what he did in Tampa. Look at this. Look at that. Here's the thing. That was Tampa. This is not Tampa Bay. We are not the Lightning. We are the fucking Red Wings. Plus, Yzerman had a better situation in Tampa compared to Detroit. Because Yzerman had Stamkos when he first got there. Detroit had Larkin when he first got there, before Larkin became the leader and the glue to hold the team together. And then you had Derek Malone's comments after the Arizona game where Malone was like, oh, well, you know, we weren't expected to be in the playoffs this year, so it's okay. It's like, what? What? The fuck is he talking about? Like, Malone has no fucking place to pull that excuse from an expert's opinion back in fucking September. Concerned that by the end of February, they had like a 72% chance of making the playoffs, and then the whole bus went right off the cliff since then. Like, there is no room to pull that card. You were comfortably in the playoffs at the end of February. You had like a 72% chance of making the playoffs at the end of February, and you were 9 points to the good on a playoff spot, and now you're completely fucking cooked it with a 7-game losing streak. But oh, the Red Wings beat Buffalo 4-1 on a Saturday at home. So some people are now going to try and pretend everything is fine, when in reality it isn't. And of course, anyone that did try and pretend everything was fine, they immediately stopped pretending after Sunday, when they got blown out by the fucking Penguins. Pittsburgh. A Penguins team that is so fucking mediocre. Like, the because the Wings lost to a Penguins team that is literally a mirror image of what the Red Wings were in the mid-2010s, when the Wings were trying to keep the streak alive at all costs, and they gave the Wings a one-way ticket to hell. Because the Penguins have been trying to keep their streak alive until Crosby retires, and now that push has led the Penguins on a one-way ticket to hell as well. Just a pretty bad situation overall. Like, the Wings, like, I think everyone in the city expected Detroit to make the Wings ticket to make the playoffs this year. It's like, it's why the Wings went in and brought guys in like Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane in, to go make a push to make the playoffs and get some experience, and then next year make the moves you need to go contend for a cup. But I'll be honest here, if the Wings make the playoffs, this season to me is a disappointment and a failure if the Wings miss the playoffs. Last year was just a hope and a prayer to make it in. This year it was a realistic expectation. And the Wings are just falling apart. Like, honestly, at this point, I know the Wings are like 1 point to the good on a playoff spot right now over the Islanders, which I don't know how the hell the Wings are still good in the playoff race. I think it's mainly because everybody else in the race, like Washington, the Islanders, and Philly, they all had chances too to pass Detroit, and they haven't taken advantage of it. I'll be honest here, the Wings fucking don't deserve to make the playoffs with how they played the last 3 weeks. Like, if the Wings can't fucking perform with one guy not in the lineup, they don't fucking deserve to be in the playoffs. But of course, Larkin's more than likely going to be back Tuesday for Columbus. And you know what? Watch this. As soon as Larkin gets back on the lineup, the Wings will all of a sudden turn around and get hot again. Just watch it happen. Because it happened after Larkin got injured against Ottawa. When the Wings won that slide, near the end of December, then the Waynes got Larkin back, and then they turned it right around immediately. Watch it happen again, and the Waynes make the playoffs. Like, honestly, I would not be pissed if the Waynes missed the playoffs, even if it is a disappointment, a failure. Because if the Waynes miss the playoffs, it will mean there will definitely be some changes that need to be made. Like, honestly, I think Steve Yzerman needs to construct his rosters better in the offseason. Because, here's the thing, though. And this is year 5 of the Yzer plan. And in 5 years, only 2 of Steve Yzerman's draft picks have made impacts on the main roster. Those 2 being Mo Sider and Lucas Raymond. And it's only 2 because everybody else hasn't been called up yet. Mainly because Steve Yzerman, honestly, with the way he's constructed the roster, he's honestly making the same mistakes that Ken Holland made in his latter years. Where he just took a bunch of broken down vets and overpaid them to bloated contracts to keep the young players from making the main roster. Just Yzerman made the same mistakes fucking Ken Holland made. Just pretty sad to see. Like, I know a lot of people are gonna defend Yzerman because, you know, he won some cups with Detroit, was a legendary player for the Waynes. Believe me, I fucking love Steve Yzerman as a player. Here's the thing, though. That was when he was a player. He's a GM now. Totally different job. And I know a lot of Waynes fans want to hang on to the memories from all the 11 cups. But here's the thing, though. You want to know what makes those memories better? Winning a 12th cup. And right now, the Waynes are nowhere close to getting cup number 12. Still got a long ways to go. Like, I'm not going to give up on Yzerman, but I think there seriously needs to be some questions about the Yzer plan. I think we need to seriously start holding Steve Yzerman accountable, too, along with Malone. And wonder what the fuck is going on here. Definitely some questions that will need to be answered. But hey, watch Larkin come back in the lineup and then everything will be fine. When the Waynes magically turn it around again. Unless the Waynes are truly being sacrificed for the Tigers to be good this season, just like the Pistons were for the Lions. We'll find out if that's true by the end of April. I'm out.